Are you ready? Okay. So you announced today, Attorney General, that you're going to be running for governor. What is the big things that you think make you a great candidate for governor?
I think that the 24 years of service that I had in the legislature gives me a pretty firm understanding of the issues that face us, and also the time for making tough decisions like we did in the legislature when times were tough and budget was lean, or when it was flush, and having to make the difficult choices that you make. And then moving on to serve as North Dakota's longest serving Attorney General, 15 years, gives me a perspective from the crime fighting and the protecting our Constitution side of the equation. I think all of those things add up to what I hope the citizens of North Dakota feel will make it a good choice for their governor to lead them into the future from this point on.
You just talked about you were in the Attorney General's office for 15 years. While you were going through the re-election process just a year ago, you talked and made promises to continue to investigate Semka and Andrew Sadek's death. It's been a year. We haven't heard much about that. When we call, we don't hear much about that. So are you going to actually make do on things you say, or was that just an empty campaign promise?
No, what I did was, of course, we weren't involved in Semka through the Bureau of Criminal Investigation. That was one of two task forces in North Dakota that were not headed up by a BCI agent. And so what I indicated that I would do is to bring in and ask the legislature for an additional BCI agent to put in charge of the Southeast task force. And that's exactly what I did. And so that position was added by the legislature, and now the Semka is under the charge of an agent from the Bureau of Criminal Investigation, which it hadn't been before. So that was what I promised to do, and that's exactly what I did do.
Speaking of BCI and your office, you're in charge of the BCI as the Attorney General, correct?
Right.
When we call your office about BCI investigations or other matters to speak with you, we're often told we get put in touch with Liz Brocker and given her opinion of the matter, or she says you're not available. She's often become a stumbling block in the communications to you, and we haven't been having access to you. So as going forward with running for governor, will there be similar problems for the public and for the media running to get in touch with you if there is something? Or can you assure that we'll have more access to you?
I always try to be accessible to the media. I'm rather known for that being the case. But sometimes media calls and they want comment upon ongoing investigations. And the answer is we don't comment on ongoing investigations for very obvious reasons. And so sometimes that's the answer you're going to get, and you don't need to talk to me to hear that answer. The answer is we aren't going to comment on it. And so though we're very busy, I am always happy to talk to the media and
Are you aware, though, that on several occasions this year we've called your office, asked who's in charge of this investigation, and been told it's the local authorities? Then when we reach out to the local authorities, we're told...
That very often is true. It's important that you understand the Bureau of Criminal Investigation is an assisting agency under the statute only. We only come in and assist when we are asked to come in to assist by the local agency. We don't swoop in like you see in the movies with the FBI and take over an investigation. We only are there, and the statute's very clear about that, to assist. And that's when we're asked.
That's fine. I'm pretty sure so. But we're often told, though, that the media outlet or the local outlet authority is like, well, it's the Attorney General's office in charge. We're not in charge.
Okay. Well, and that I don't know where you get a miscommunication from the local folk, because all I can tell you is that the statute says we only are an assisting agency, and so we don't provide public information on local investigations. They're heading those up, and we're very careful. We're very careful.
It's not. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. We have others waiting. I think he's answered your question. Thank you.
Often the local authorities are even, it's a conflict of interest inside those, and you guys are supposed to be speaking on behalf of
Do you have something in specific you're thinking about here?
For example, the local authorities are dealing with a case involving one of the sons up there. It's been handed over to the BCI. We've been told that the BCI is investigating. When we call your office to get a comment about that, we're told we don't know if we're in charge of the
Well, ma'am, I don't know what I can do except tell you that we don't comment on ongoing investigation. And sometimes you might not like to hear it, but that's the news that there is. That's the answer. And you don't need 6 people to tell you. We don't comment on it.
But we can hear that from you, right? Will you give us as
Well, you don't. I am always accessible, and if you have any issue about it, you're about the only person I've ever heard that from. All right. Yeah. Well.
Thank you.
Thank you.